Hi, Mike. My name is Kana. I'm the LCSW on board. I'm here to provide verbal therapy. I do specialize in a variety of diagnoses. And what I like to start off with is anything you disclose in this room stays in this room, unless obviously you plan to harm yourself or anybody else. Then we would have to take it outside of this room. How are you today?
I'm okay.
Okay. Um, Would you like to delve a little bit into what you mean by okay and maybe what brought you here today?
Um, well, I'm married. I have a wife. Her name is Rita, and we've been married for 29 years. Um, and she strongly suggested that I come talk to someone, someone I can talk to about what I'm going through. Because I recently got a lot of medical. Um, I would say I got told I have a medical condition, so um, I'm not. She feels that I'm not really handling it well, so she suggested that I come talk to someone.
Okay, and had she mentioned to you maybe why she's concerned and like maybe, what she's seeing that is of concern?
Well, they say that I have a chronic liver condition, um, and the doctors say that my liver is just not functioning well. And they want to send me to a specialist, but I don't want to go see a specialist and get anyone else's opinion.
And I completely understand that, and but there's no shame in having something, going on. We all experience it and stuff. How long has this been going on? The chronic liver condition and kind of the concerns your wife has.
The liver condition is recent. I think I found out maybe just 2 or 3 weeks ago. I don't know. Everything's kind of been a lot ever since, so I think feel like dates kind of blend together a little bit in regards to my condition.
Um, did you have any concerns prior to this diagnosis, or did it seem like um how I usually say trigger, aka like the symptom this experience really started around that diagnosis, or
Yeah, like I've been like anxious or a little bit like worried ever since they told me, but so I feel like it increased around then. And both of my parents had passed away as well. And they were alcoholics. Um and they're both gone from obviously issues with their liver.
okay. It seems to me there's a little bit more with your relationship with your parents. Do you want to delve into that?
They were not like bad people, but they would drink and party. Like we'd always have parties and people over at our house. And whenever they were either stressed or anxious or having issues, they would drink to kind of soothe their, I guess, anxiety. So growing up, that's kind of how I have handled things. And in the past, I've had issues with drinking a little bit too much. Um, when I get stressed out, um, and they did like pass away around my birthday, back in 1989. So that date is really hard for me. Um, I tend to usually black out on my birthday, just kind of help not have to think about things. Um,
It sounds like your parents and their following death really had an impact on you.
Yeah, I think I just used the alcohol though to kind of help me feel something at least a little bit better.
Kind of nullify what may be going on.
Yeah.
What do you commonly experience before drinking that you feel the alcohol helps subside?
Well, I have 5 children, and um two of them, one of my sons and one of my daughters, also struggle with drinking, like alcohol. I guess you can call it maybe alcoholism. Um since I did run in a family, and like my wife says I drink too much. People feel they drink too much. I feel like I have a lot of guilt and like shame for their alcoholism, because whenever I was stressed out, um, I used to just have them, I would pay them like $1 when they were really little to go get me a beer from the fridge. And I would sometimes make a game out of it. So they saw me from a young age drinking a lot in my chair. I have this chair in the dining room, and I'll usually just sit there and I can finish like 2 12 packs in a sitting. And then when they got older and probably realized if I was stressed about stuff, I would pick up a beer. And I feel like I passed that on to them.
And reflecting back on that, how do you feel about the situation? Do you feel anything could have been done differently?
Um, not not really. That's the only way I know how to like feel better, if I feel better at all. I don't have any support or people to go to, because I have 2 older sisters as well, who are still alive, but they don't talk to me because of my drinking. It's a trigger for them with how we lost our parents.
I'm sure, and I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sure they have some stuff they have to work through themselves on their, own journey. Um, was there any religion or spirituality in your home?
Um, if you consider like a beer, maybe, but other than that, no, they weren't really religious people. They just religiously drank, if anything.
Okay. Um, it sounds that your parents themselves were kind of experiencing struggles. Was there ever any discussion about anything regarding mental health in there with them or maybe someone else in your family?
No, we didn't like talk about things like that. Like, they didn't really ever discuss anything they were going through or upset about. Um, just knew they were upset if they started drinking more around certain times.
It was kind of evident that, oh, mom or dad are going through something because, the fears are increasing.
Yeah.
Any other, so you mentioned the death of your parents. Is there any other significant life events that you've been through?
Yeah. After, I want to say, maybe like 5 years after, my parents had passed away around my birthday again. My wife had actually cheated. Um, but our children were so young that we didn't split up. And that might have also like make me feel really sour or upset around that time of the year as well.
Would you say kind of that time of year makes you feel like sad, and almost like lack of energy?
Yeah, I feel like really down or depressed. I usually like kind of drink a lot more on then. Um, s- Isolate myself a lot more in my room. I don't really eat a lot. I recently also lost 20 pounds because I'm just not feeling really well at all. after getting this condition being sprung upon me. I just have no appetite really.
I'm sure the medical is very scary. So with all this in mind, could we delve maybe a bit more into your relationship with your children? I know you mentioned the two are themselves are experiencing some alcohol use. What about your other children?
My other children, they have children of their own, so they'll come around and stuff when it's like holidays per se, like once or twice a year, but they kind of stay away from me due to my drinking. Which it's okay because I get it. Maybe they just don't want their kids to kind of grow up how they grew up. And then my son and daughter who struggle with alcoholism, um, we talk probably more frequently than my other kids.
Okay. So you said that um you really kind of don't feel a need to talk to somebody. Um, However, with what you're describing to me, it feels like there's some stuff maybe to process around like your parents, your relationship with your wife, and maybe even your own experience and feelings with your children. Cause um I'm sure that all of that brings up some feelings.
Probably. I usually would just like if I start to get thinking about all this stuff and overwhelmed, I'll usually just drink, and after a few beers, I usually kind of feel good enough that I can either go to sleep or read the paper or something.
What do you do for work?
Well, I only have my high school diploma, so I unfortunately am a construction worker. That's the only thing I can find, or I had found, um, that was able to kind of pay the bills and support having that many children and a wife and everything.
And how do you feel surrounding on your job? It sounds like it create from your tone that it creates a lot of tension for you.
I don't really like it. It's very physically taxing, especially from doing it for all these years. Um, but I really don't have any other options, especially with me being older. So I kind of just get the job done day by day. I need to go in and come home and drink.
So, anything else that maybe I should be aware of during our time together today?
Mm, mm, um, no, I think I basically said like my anxious or fearful feelings, my depression, my drinking, and then just my condition. I think that's really all that I've had going on.
Okay. And would you be willing to give verbal therapy a try? Is that something you'd be interested in? Or
Maybe I could if I didn't think of it as exactly therapy. But I don't mind like getting on another time and discussing if I maybe
and
have
if
other
it's
things going on.
yeah, and if it's better for you, we can label these discussions. It doesn't have to be labeled therapy. Um, I just feel that, especially with the chronic liver condition right now, maybe it'd be nice to have somebody to talk to. But ultimately, it is your decision whether you continue with me. But I'd really like to see you again.
Yeah, I'd maybe be open to talking about my condition.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for having the courage and honesty to come see me today. I will walk you up to the front ladies and we will maybe schedule another appointment.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Thank you, Mike, for coming in.
Thank you.